Maybe a meter manufacturer's perspective is kind of the answer you got, right? So we've got it solved at the meter. The wisdom of Ed buying a Zigbee refrigerator, I guess we'll leave to Ed.
Well, does the appliance, when they're getting this update you're talking about, this automated picking up an update of the firmware or software or whatever, does that go, do you envision that going through your meter and your network, or does this appliance have a separate connection that allows them to pull this?
Well, you've asked an interesting question. It's not our network, right?
Exactly.
This is our customer's network, and I don't, I guess I'll speak in a generality. I can't think of a customer that's going to be letting refrigerator downloads go through the AMI network.
Yeah.
That's not to say that it's not going to happen, though, because I think people have to understand that when we're talking about the home area network, it doesn't actually have to be anything to do with the meter, per se. It could be a third party, and it could be routed through that.
And
This
that's
is
true.
this is
You
a
know,
this is a
I mean,
complementary. Yeah.
the issue, one of the issues is
in almost every case, what you're seeing now, just to put some commentary on this, what you're seeing now is you're seeing companies like GE announce a combined Wi-Fi Zigbee gateway. And the reason is twofold. One, the consumer's management portal for the home appliances is a smartphone or a tablet, which is Wi-Fi enabled. Two is what we're talking about, the backhaul for the home appliances, data, consumer is Wi-Fi. Now, with a combined gateway that can talk to the Zigbee device, whatever that might be, whether it's the meter or some other aspect of the home automation piece, I think that's definitely going to be, I don't think there's any way we're going to have a Zigbee backhaul talking to appliances. I think the meter, now the concern is, you know, Zigbee networks kind of form themselves. So if I drag something Zigbee to the party, and I think Robert said that, we're secure because we know what traffic we should and shouldn't be getting, hopefully.
No, I'm not going to say that we're secure. I'm going to say that we are addressing the security of the situation.
Back to the absolute security, sorry.
The truth is nobody knows what the business model is going to be yet.
So, I mean, your average homeowner can't configure a Zigbee network, point blank. I mean, you're going to drag a Zigbee light switch or a Zigbee-enabled air conditioner, and it'll probably talk to the meter in some fashion, but your homeowner's not going to get inside of that. Travis will, but your homeowner's not going to. But your Wi-Fi network, one button configure, yeah, that's where, and it was interesting to me, the one thing that told me a lot about this situation was at CES when GE said, see that connector on the side of our water heater? That's where we plug either the Wi-Fi module or the Zigbee module because we're not sure which one's going to win. And now you talk about most of that's going to be Wi-Fi because most of it, it's just an interesting, I was glad I was able to pipe up, but hopefully that triggers some thought.
Well,
go ahead, Ed.
One of the, it's probably interesting to note that one of the contentious issues that continues to make Zigbee 2.0 not ratified is the security and how to handle it. So that's not coincidental, I'm suspecting.
And this also brings to light one of the topics that has become a matter of some great controversy, depending on who you talk to. It's no controversy to me because I have a very strongly held and loudly voiced opinion on it, and that is delivering content over a control network. There's been some question about delivering user content over these utility networks, or conversely, using public networks to control these devices, to circumvent the need to install a dedicated communication system to manage these meters, basically making your meter Wi-Fi enabled. I only speak for myself when I say this, but I do not see a viable security model existing where you mix internet content or user content and system control traffic on the same wire. And so the ability of a Zigbee device to call home through the meter over the utility backhaul is going to be hotly debated in the future, or now for that matter. And if anybody wants to call me out on that statement, bring it on.
Actually, I would like to second that, and I think that, I'm sorry, I'm Erin Gasco. And what I want to say is that it's always less painful to learn from other people's mistakes, and we would do well to remember why 100 years after they started, the telephone industry redid their whole model, because they realized that having control traffic and regular packets on the same network didn't work, and they separated it. And maybe we can learn from them. Oh, I'm sorry.
Darren, we're going to give you a chance to ask a question.
Alrighty, so Robert, this is not a challenge, this is more of a softball pitch for you.
Nope.
So,
Wow.
But on this very subject, is there any potential for blurring of the line or distinction between these types of data? For instance, the consumer actually has a device that is subscribed to a load control program with the utility, and the utility actually reaches down into the hand and gives control signals to a device in the home. Conversely, pricing signals that may come through the internet, those actually might affect load. Are there any border cases that really push our definition of what is content versus what is control and so on?
I'm certain that those lines are going to be blurred, and they're going to be blurred wildly. And I'm equally certain that my loud, obnoxious opinion is certainly not going to define two entire industries. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, if I could just,
One last question, and then I'm going to dismiss for
I think
today.
Ed wanted to jump in on that last
sorry,
topic real quick.
slow reactions. I haven't had enough coffee today.
You got to wake up. This is just a quick moving room.
Yeah, I was just going to add a small thing, and if you consider that might be a usable and a useful thing, it may be worthwhile to ponder. Most automobiles these days have a CAN bus to control the pretty much everything in newer cars, including the brakes and the engine. So if you consider that, it might be kind of neat to be able to download iTunes over that same bus while you're in an emergency braking situation. Just that's kind of the way I think of it.
Because I think what you're hearing
I like
is again, not really the, could there, but there shouldn't be, I think is the answer you're getting there. Yeah, definitely, I mean, it seems to be a common theme of, and really, it's one that we largely get from our customers, from you actually, so that's.
Hi, Alan Rivaldo, PUC Texas. Let me kind of ask the same question from a different perspective. Has anyone within your companies or perhaps outside your companies attempted to start a dialogue on HAN, whether your company should get into the business with, say, a company that wants to get into the HAN space, or is that kind of a...
NDA.
It's not for us. We've partnered with a number of different companies to have our devices talk to inside the home devices, like in-home monitor, load control kind of things. That's not much of a secret in our end of things. Our preference would be to stick with what we know, what we do well, what we've been doing for 170 years, which is the metering end of things. I don't see that changing anytime soon, not least because the consumer electronics devices are very, very different, as I'm sure you can all understand, in nature, in target price, in 100 different ways, ambient temperature, all kinds of different things. So for that reason, I don't think that we'll be directly involved with that. But as far as things like participation in Zigbee, we're already there. So we will be interfacing with both appliance manufacturers and in-home devices that speak in this hand. That's already taking place.
I'm not really
Consumers
seeing that. It's more of trying to build out the infrastructure.
It's too new.
For the home. Yeah, it's too new. Yeah.
So maybe in next smart grid security conference or the one after that.
You never know. You never know what they're gonna talk about next, right? Like I said, it's dynamic. So, thank you very much. Have a good day.